just that the people are not ready to honky tonk. So people are not honky tonking like they used to. They won't put out that product anymore because people are not ready to honky tonk like they were when honky tonking was real honky tonking.
Why are they scared to honky tonk?
There's a hole in music. There's like a hole in music, and nobody wants to go there. Everybody wants to have a party in the woods.
Oh God! Hey! What's up, Zach Russell? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing pretty good.
All right, we got to make sure the audio is good. We have a history of terrible audio issues.
We're very good at our guest having the worst audio issue. Can you talk real quick? Let me hear it. Make sure you're talking right.
Yep. Check. Can you hear me?
Where's the static coming from? Can y'all hear
See,
the static?
this is so weird. Like it was not doing this before.
Yeah. We do this every time we set up. It goes well. Suddenly, there's a bug. There's a gremlin.
Yeah. Could you try like maybe turning your headphones off and then turning them back on and see if that'll work?
Yeah.
I'll take an opportunity to talk right now about how awesome Texas is.
No, you won't. Just a little crackle. Took a 22-man jet to kill a blind.
There's no headphones. Is that better? Or is
that's better?
Actually, we get the.
That sounds better, right?
Yeah, we got that natural timbre of the wood in the room.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Every time we do a sound check before this thing happens, I'm always like, this is a waste of our time because as soon as we hit go live, it's going to just completely fall apart. What's going on, everybody? Bert Byler and Chuck Diesel here live from the Americondo. We're a little excited. I'll be honest. Now that we've done, how many interviews have we done? Probably like 10, 15, 20.
Including the ones with me, 33.
A lot, including you. And now that we've been doing the channel for a little while, I've realized the thing that excites me the most or the thing that makes me the happiest is whenever we have somebody come talk to us that are lesser known than they should be or underrated. And we get to talk about how awesome somebody is that a lot of people don't know about. And so I know you're right there listening to me, Zach, but I'm just going to wax lyrically just for a second. So you can go somewhere if you want. But the first time that I heard Zach play on a Twitter song, he was playing some old church song. And I knew that this is our guy. Like, I totally believe that Zach is one of the most criminally underrated musicians in the genre. And so it's an honor to have you. And then you went and listened to his EP.
Yeah.
And you weren't ready for all of the honky tonkin'.
I fell off into that EP. It's a great EP. It's got a lot of fantastic moments, but specifically just some great musicianship on that album. The sound of it is so. I'm just gonna go listen to it right now. You guys keep going. It's a short EP. You should put the thing on, let it play,
and shut up.
Man, it's good. It's good stuff, Zach. And I usually am a fan of only good things. My reputation is pristine. I am batting 1,000 and picking good.
So far, I trust your judgment.
Yep. As far as you know, I am batting 1,000.
All right. Well, so you've put out some acoustic stuff, and then tell us a little bit about this EP. Who did you do it with? Who played on it? Because we were talking about it a little bit before, but I think the new like age of acoustic and like the cell phone videos in your room and all that stuff is so cool. But I feel like we've just done so much of that recently. It's so nice to hear like a well-produced record with creative stuff and great musicians. So what was your thinking going into the EP? How did you record it? Kind of just give us like a little rundown about how y'all did it.
Well, sure. And I've often said, like, every time I hear like some album that should be good from like some big artist or somebody with access to all that they have access to, I'm like, you should not make a bad record. Like,
Yeah.
it's just you get a good song and get good players, and it's that simple. So that was kind of my thinking going in. I was like, I just need, you know, good guys to play on it. And some of the guys that were playing on it, we had Matthew Helmkamp plays the lead guitars, and he plays for Ashley McBride. And I'm pretty sure every single guitar part on that album is live. Like, it's not overdubbed at all, except some of the steel stuff or additive stuff. But yeah, the lead electric stuff is all Matt Helmkamp just playing in the room with us, and that's what it ended up being.
Can we listen to that for just a second? Because oh my God. So this guy's name is Matt Helmkamp.
Yeah, it goes by Moose is what we call him. I don't know if
Moose.
everybody.
All right. So were you in the building when Moose fucking destroyed the place on One More?
Yeah,
Because
we were all in the room. We were at Brown Owl Studio, just all four of us in one room. You know, we got the amps off in isolation booths, but I'm in the room just playing. Yeah.
let's check out the groove of this to start with. We got 7 seconds. We can do it 7 seconds.
We can
y'all.
only
Only
play
do 7 seconds before we get popped.
7 seconds before YouTube kicks our ass. So we're getting what? We're doing from 23
To 30. All right, here we
on
go.
the song
Here we go.
One More on Zach's EP, The Creek.
No,
all you
7
get.
seconds. 7 seconds.
That's all you
7
get.
All right. God, it's just dirty. It's just dirty, dude. Just sitting in there with them honky tonk rhythms and a little bit of flange. And man, it is just what I'm here for. How long do we have to wait before we skip forward? and hear the next?
At least like a minute.
We got to wait like a whole minute. All right. So the thing that I love about this is this is a guy playing with you that's worked with you through the course of the recording process, right? This is a studio musician, basically, right?
Well, he does some studio work, but he's mostly a live player for, like, he tours with Ashley McBride. His like
Right. I
main-
think I'm asking it wrong, but this is not your guitar player.
No,
right?
this is I don't like. I have some guys I'm trying to make regulars now, but at that point, I was just hiring my friends when I needed a band, and my friends just happened to be really good musicians.
Yeah, so
legit, man.
So there's just a movement these days of man, how's the best way I can put this? Like using your friends and just even though they may not be the best, like it's better to have your friends with you than to hire out hired guns. And I'm not saying either one's wrong or right. There's pros and cons to both ways of doing things. But why did you decide to hire some more seasoned veterans instead of getting people that you knew to do it?
These were people I knew.
You knew this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I lived in Nashville for like 10 years, and so me and most of these guys were in college at the same time, and
so he's a young guy.
Yeah, we're making records. We were making records that never really saw the light of day, back in college together. And it's just we kind of found people we liked and stuck together, and then everybody just kept getting better, and so everybody's projects became better, and yeah.
So you hit the jackpot where you get the best of both worlds. You have the great musicians that are also your friends.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think that comes from working a lot. It's like when you start. I mean, obviously, if you're living in Nashville and you're making records, did you go to school up there?
Yeah, I went to MTSU.
Yeah. So
I did for a year.
yeah, everybody I know that went to MTSU made a bunch of records.
One of the biggest mistakes of my life was not sticking it out.
In Murfreesboro?
Yeah, I just had like a bad semester, the second semester, and I gave up and I came home. And I wish to this day I would have never done that.
That's if y'all are keeping score at home, that's Nashville 2, Chuck and Bert 0.
Yeah, Nashville kicked our ass. So where are you living now?
I live in a town called Clinton, Tennessee. It's like East Tennessee. It's close to where I'm from. From Caryville, Tennessee. It's just like 10 miles up the road. So I basically moved back home, but just a little different town.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we can play the next
Can we
part.
listen to that second guitar
You
part?
want to listen to the
All right, so let's listen to what Moose did later in the song. We are trying so hard not to get popped by
What was it
YouTube right
at?
now. 144 to 151.
That's all we get.
That's all we get.
Just one little section.
Here it is. Watch it.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. We got to say. Oh man.
I'll let him finish his
Ooh,
lick out.
we gotta strike for that one, Moose. We gotta strike for that one.
YouTube's coming.
Oh man, that is just so. As a guitar player, it was great to hear how much space you left in this song for all this amazing guitar work. Also, the piano work on the second track. I can't remember what the name of it is. Oh, Drinking to Forget. I think that's the one that has a lot of piano on it.
Yeah.
But you left a lot of room for your friends to work here in these songs on this EP. How did that come about? Did you know you wanted to do something that kind of showcased this vibe instead of trying to tighten up poppy little songs?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some conversations had about trimming fat from the songs, and we did that too. Like, okay, we're just gonna come straight in here instead of that 4 bars or whatever. Like there was things like that, but having those discussions while keeping the artistic vision in mind of wanting to just have a record full of good music. Like, of course I want my friends to showcase themselves. Like, I'm glad they do, because I don't know if I can make 4, or definitely can't make 6 minutes interesting on one chord without them. So yeah.
I don't deserve 16 bars of anything. I can say with confidence. I would say that 12 bars is all I should ever be allowed. And if I'm doing 16 bars, you can guarantee somebody should be driving me home. True story.
All right. So I definitely want to get into The Creek. So tell us a little bit before we watch it, how you recorded this. Did you record this at your house?
Yeah, we recorded it in at my house.
Okay. So we're going to watch it, and I want to kind of stop it along the way and ask you some questions, because it blows my mind. Some people on the internet who find so much success with their music. And then I go and I look at this song, and it's got 105 views, but I've probably been like 95 of those views. I love this song, man. I think that the reason I want us to listen to the whole thing, there are so many parts to it that I could stop and like talk about. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to stop a lot, and I'm going to talk about it a lot. And I got a lot of questions about about this song, but I also loved the album version of it. What were some of your inspirations for kind of some of the sounds and I don't know how would you describe some of the sounds that y'all came up with for this song?
There's especially on that song, there's a lot of like atmospheric stuff going on. And I'm a big fan of first tracks and how they set up. I feel like that's how you tell your listener like what mood to be in to listen to the rest of the album. And so I've always been big on having some kind of weird, spacey something just to be like, hey, this isn't just like a regular old boring honky tonk record, you know. I want you to listen a little closer, I guess. And most of it was just here at my house, just kind of pulling parts from takes and tweaking them, and maybe some synth stuff on there might have been. Just kind of chopping and screwing until it sounded cool.
Nice.
Hell yeah. So let's check out The Creek live from Zach's house. First question we got to ask. Maybe the most important question.
Is that question, what type of guitar is that?
No.
Nope.
Um,
Is that question about the fancy accoutrement in the background?
Also, no.
Nope.
Our community gets very riled up about certain debates and certain conversations. One time on the show, I had a songwriter come on and make fun of a person for having their overalls too low. Was it too high?
Too high. Okay, there
Was
it
it
is.
too high?
Keith already clocked us. How high on the bill?
How high on the bigger?
Overalls, just right. Benjamin, they are already up in the chat, blowing us up.
They know where I'm going with it.
TLP just got back. Good to see you, buddy. Can't wait to see what he has to say about this one.
In your opinion, what is a correct height of overall wearing?
I've never given much thought to how high it is here.
You better think about it because it's gonna get heated real quick.
Going to determine how much of this fan base becomes your fan base.
It's mostly just like creating appropriate room in the crotch is kind of what I'm thinking. Like,
Okay,
wherever it needs to be up here to make me comfy down here.
It's a weird flex, man, because we just wanted like a nips in or nips out answer, and you just turned it into a brag about your junk. It's just like this is clearly a family show, obviously, already.
So family.
This is a fucking family show.
That was a fucking family.
And clearly, over the line. Here's what I like to know: is the zipper, is that aftermarket? Did you buy the overalls and then?
Yeah, those are just old Liberties.
And did you install the zipper yourself afterwards, or is that
no? They're just stock Liberties.
Gotcha.
Stock Liberties.
All right. So if we've got all this squared away, everybody, if y'all will pipe down and listen to the song and quit blowing up the chat, now that we've got the overalls handled, I don't trust that they will, but
yeah, they're not going to let that die. Here we go.
Said, hold me down, rest my heart. It's been running wild for ages. I've run round this whole world to find my start. I've been filling up the pages.
All right, so one of the big questions that I want to get into is, so as soon as I hear you singing like this, it takes me back to go into my my grandfather and grandmother's old little bitty church in Noxapater, Mississippi. But instead of singing like, old Jesus songs, you're asking questions that I'm really interested in. And so, what relationship do you have with old church music? How does that come out in the music that you're making now? Kind of like what's been your experience with that? Because I know you've done like a hashtag where you play like what's it called? What do you call it? Back
Back to you Sunday mornings.
Yeah. So what's your relationship with old church music?
Well, that's I grew up in a Southern Baptist church.
Come on now, I knew it.
And
You
so
could
that's where I learned to play and sing, and I guess those songs and the messages kind of stuck with me too, but it kind of got a little bigger for me, and so the questioning comes in, and also those songs they jump right into like old standards and old country tunes, just like old American songwriter songs, and it was something else that I really cut my teeth on. And so I guess when I go to write songs, it's just the only way I know how to do it is like I learned how to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like so I played a lot of church music up until like very recently. And I feel like new church music just has gone really far away, like stylistically and how it sounds, to where it just sounds very cookie cutter and like it has this sheen over it. And then like I go back and I listen to these old church songs and it still just feels so real, even though like maybe some of the lyrics I may not love or agree with or whatnot, but
Yeah.
it still feels so real. So how um does it still feel the same to you now that you've been playing it for a long time, or is it, I don't know, I don't know how to describe the way that you playing this kind of music but asking questions that I'm interested in, it's ticking like all of my boxes, like all of the old nostalgic stuff that means so much to me, but like asking questions that I'm interested in. So how real does it still feel to you, and how, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. How, how do you keep an old style feel so real to you?
Well, speaking of to the songs, there's some of them that don't do anything for me, and then there are others that do still connect with me in a way. And I'm like you said, like some of the words, I'm like I don't agree with that, but the rest of it I like, But I guess I found a way to fit some of them into my my newer, bigger understanding of how things are. Like there's ways to spin it, and also you can just think like you listen to a song of like Wayfaring Stranger or something. It's like it's a song out of like heartbreak, or longing, and just like, or the songs about wanting to get to heaven. Those always get me, because it's like here these like people who are just having to break the ground to try and get food, and singing these things to get them through the hard days. And somebody wrote it probably in a similar space, and I just don't know if it gets more human than that. That's like the most human thing ever, is like, get me through this day. Things are gonna get better,
Mhm.
Woo, come on now.
You see that? I don't even know if I should talk about it. That Neil Brennan bit where he talks about how atheism is like the height of white privilege. Like, if your life is so good, they're like, would you like another life after that? You're like, no, I'm good. It's like, how simple was your life? And you're talking about like the exact same thing of like people who endured hardship to survive in these times and wrote this music. And man, there's just a lot to be said for and there's also like a conversation about how much this music that speaks about eternity, how much it speaks to older people or all of us as we get older and begin to like consult our mortality, right? All right, we're gonna go deep. It's about to get dark. We should hit play again on this video.
We should listen a little more to this song. Here we go.
What if I find that there's nothing to find and everything just fades out in the light?
All right,
All right, so we made it 4 seconds without
we hit two more lyrics.
Yeah.
As a person that grew up in church my whole life, did the whole church thing, I never let myself ask that question. Like, I felt like for whatever reason, what I've been taught or whatever, like I was never able to ask myself the question of like, what if all this is wrong? Right? What if all of this is just not true? Was there a specific time in your life that you felt like you asked that question, or do you remember an experience that brought you there that happened early or late on in life? Like where did you come to that question?
I was about, I guess, 20, and I don't remember there being like just an exact moment. I think I just always really wanted to believe and never quite really did. And then the reasons why I didn't just became more and more clear and apparent to me the older I got. So by the time I was, in college and done some traveling around and seen things outside of my town, I was like, oh, there's like a whole world that doesn't think like this at all. So I was like, well, what are the chances these guys are the ones that are right about everything?
It's for me, it's the way you said these guys. Because I've done a lot of looking at these guys lately in my life for sure. And man, these guys also, there's not an appropriate time during this conversation to do it. So
sorry.
Oh yeah.
Going ahead. Shine about. All right, let's keep going. Willie Boo Boo.
So I want to tame my mind, so the heartache just rolls right by, and my woman laying there snoring sounds like the river of Jordan. There I'll be free.
Come on now.
There I'll be clean. There I wash my sins in the creek. There I wash my sins in the creek. Wanna find a crack where I get in, where the love can't help but seep in. Then find the place where I fit in, so I won't ever want to sleep in.
Come on with that voice.
What if I find that there's nothing to find and everything just fades out in time? So I wanna tame my mind, so the heartache just rolls right by.
All right, so let's talk about taming your mind a little bit, because I think that's a really cool way to talk about getting to know yourself. Like, I want to tame my mind so heartache can just roll on by. Where did that lyric come from?
I mean, I guess I was basically just sitting around, like, feeling like that, just like I want to figure some stuff out so I can be happier. And like the first verse is kind of, saying like all the things I've been doing, I thought it was, before I'd seen much or really done anything or like gone on tour, I watched my friends do those things and have cool stories, and I was like, man, if I just had what they had, like, I'd be happy. But then I'm saying, like, well, I've done a lot of those things now and still didn't do it. And I guess just grappling with like the existentialism of everything. Like, what if it's all nothing? What if it's all meaningless? And trying to find a way to come above that, and like by telling myself to feel connection and importance in my own life and with my own people and clan.
You said the word existentialism, so that pretty much means Chuck's going to talk for the next like 3 hours. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. But, like, y'all have fun, man.
He gets pouty sometimes.
Did I hurt his feelings?
No, he's just a sad boy. No, actually, since we're gonna get banned from Twitch anyway, I think he broke the seal earlier, so he's having to make quicker trips. So, man, we have been talking a lot about this lately, Bert and I, because of our kind of upbringing in the church and just the drive that we had as musicians within the church, and then as that spread outward into the circles that we were playing as we went on the road, playing in sometimes doing camps during the week and bar gigs on the weekends, and then eventually just doing bar gigs. And just as we expanded our musical circle, as we started to look for new and different things to do, went to different continents, explored different musical opportunities, and we talked about how this drive that we felt within us, that we felt was so sure was like this just real spiritual like push from God, was actually our own personal desire to be somebody important and to have that feeling of like of I don't know, like of mattering, of being somebody, just being somebody, right? And we have been talking about this, about how we fight against that in order to do what we want to do, not what we're inclined to do out of the desire to be somebody, but what we want to actually make. And I feel like that's a similar vibe for like fight for authenticity that you're talking about. It's like, what amount of success is going to make you happy? You know, what type of lifestyle is going to make you happy? Or are you going to invest yourself in finding things that are of that have a texture, that have a tangibility to actually make you happy? You know,
Yeah.
we come from only from the admitted vibe of failed musicians, the admitted pipeline of failed musicians.
Capital F failure.
Capital F.
Oh, that's not true.
So that was you gave me an existential opening. I took a swing.
You knew he was going to run a
Man,
mile
you
in
have
them shoes.
the problem was you peed so quickly.
I didn't pee. I
You now have
just
90
said
seconds
AWOL.
for your rebuttal.
I have 90 seconds.
You got as long as you want, man.
All right, what do you want to talk about now that I've completely changed the vibe of the night? Where would we go from here naturally? Just what
We
would
can
be
talk
nat-
about whatever.
just what would be
What? All right. So
That's
you went
natural.
through this. So now that you've had some time to think about it, like, I think is a question that we all as musicians have to try to answer is, how can you be happy making music? So what is your definition of being happy making music? Does that mean touring a lot? Does that mean doing this thing full time? Does it mean doing it with your friends? Like what's your ideal version of making music?
Well, it's pretty much always been like my goal is to make music, like make records. Like that's my favorite part. Besides writing. But yeah, my goal is small theaters. Like that's if I can get
It's a hell of a goal.
all theaters, then in my mind, I'd be like, yeah, I made it. I could walk away now if I wanted to. It's almost like it's like I just want to prove it to myself or something, see if I can. And also, like, I'm 20 years into this thing now. Like, I'm too far in to turn around, you know. I just gotta keep doubling down.
right.
Or like sextupling down, like you double down so many times,
Yeah,
right?
whatever it is. You're like, all right, triple or nothing. Let's do this. Man, and here's the other thing is like then you think about as you age as a musician, because music's a young man's game, basically, right? Like we can name all the old musicians, kind of, right? The emphasis is on youth so much. You start thinking about when you get into your late 30s, you're like, what are the other musicians my age doing? Like someone's playing for Britney Spears, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in my late 30s.
Yeah.
But then also like there's some dude who's just got like the Tuesday night gig at Johnny T's, and he goes in there and plays his set every Tuesday night, and that's him as a musician at that age.
I want to change my social media accounts to just say Brunch Burt.
Brunch.
I only play brunch gigs from now on. If it ends after 1 p.m., I'm out.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. What if it's an 11 to 4 brunch?
No way.
That's still a brunch, bro. That's
Long
a solid
brunch.
Maybe the money right? You don't know that many brunch numbers?
I don't have that many brunch songs.
I saw him play at brunch. He played the girl from Ipanema barely 16 times.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I was like, I don't think that happened, but
let's listen to more of this.
Get through this
song.
song.
Oh my god!
And my woman laying there snoring, sounds like the river Jordan.
Gotta get her a
There
breathing
I'll be
machine.
free.
All that snoring.
There I'll be clean. There I wash my sins in the creek. There I wash my sins in the creek.
Chuck loves a 7.
What if I find that there's nothing on the line and everything's yours and everything is mine? There I'll be free.
Oh, dang, Zachariah.
There I'll
Do
be
all them
free.
notes.
There I wash my sins in the creek. There I wash my sins in the creek. In the creek. In the creek. In the creek.
Here's what I love about that turnaround every time you hit that 7 at the end of the phrase, right? And it's like when it kicks in, you also expect it to last like 2 beats longer than it does, right? And it just like goes back into the tonic right immediately.
Mhm.
Nerd alert. Good song, man. It's a good
That's a
song.
great
That's a good house. It was a good execution. I'm only gonna give you 3 out of 5 stars for overalls. That's my personal opinion. They can chime in from the West Coast, whatever they think about that. Texas is going to give you 3 stars.
You gonna go to war with overalls?
I'm not going to war with overalls. I'm saying of the overalls, you know, I would have liked to have seen some look, well, we're just giving our opinion, right? Critiques. I would have liked to see some aftermarket upgrades on those overalls. I thought the zipper was at first, and that zipper's great, but I would have liked to seen, you know, maybe a little you know, some rhinestones, extra stitching, you know.
That's something people do.
People
Man, you just don't know the world of overalls, bro. You just don't know what's happening in overalls.
Our community are overall connoisseurs. That's the one thing.
I don't know what it says about anything that we do that's the case, but it's true.
Every time that I feel like
very
I'm,
specific crowd over here.
yeah. Every time
Overall designers.
I feel like I'm gonna say something controversial, and like as soon as we'll finish a live stream or an interview or something, I'll tell Chuck. I'll be like, man, I really hope I didn't piss people off. Nobody gives a rip. But if I say anything about overalls or Texas, those are the 2 things that just, by the way, fuck Texas.
It's his stream. Yeah.
Love Tennessee, though.
Tennessee is good.
We love
Texas is
Tennessee.
great.
Okay, so you've got some new music coming out. Have you recorded this music already? Where are you at with all that?
Yeah, I've got a record done. We recorded it back in May and just kind of tweaked it a little here and there over the next following months. Looks like we're looking sometime later this year for a release date, like towards the end of the year. We haven't set one in stone yet.
Are you doing with a label or what? How you doing it?
We're kind of shopping around a little bit. That's been a big part of the delay. Is just kind of got a couple people interested. It's just a numbers game, I guess. Just what they can do for what I'm gonna give up, basically. Yeah.
What's your negotiation strategy? What's your top strategy of getting what you want?
I go with the Kanye approach. Just
yes.
Walk in there, start demanding things.
Fuck it off.
Yeah. You wear a really nice coat,
Yeah.
and you just say, "Look at this coat." And then based on the coat, you demand things. Yeah.
Me being someone who's never had a record label ask me for anything, every time I talk to songwriters, I'm like, what's your strategy? And then immediately I'm like, oh, but they're like good, so they don't need to.
I will say I had a guy from Forefront Records once ask me not to stand in front of their building.
Damn.
It was cold in Nashville, man. It was cold. I was spinning one of those signs.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I'm joking. Those signs were not around in the 90s, man. I wish I could say that. I wish I could say I was spinning sign. Sign spinning skills would be on my curriculum vitae if I had actually done that.
All right. One question that we ask everybody is now you can go about this one or two ways. who would you put in your modern Highwaymen? If you were to create your own version of the Highwaymen right now,
Two-part question, actually.
you can now. If you're arrogant like Chuck, you would put yourself in the Highwaymen,
I
which
need
is
to be able
totally
to trust
okay.
him. I need somebody in the band I can trust.
Or you could just pick 4 people that you really like. You choose your own adventure. You can put yourself in the band. Obviously, I would support that, but
Unless I did it, then you wouldn't support it.
obviously. But
Man,
who you got?
I'm loving recently Charlie Crockett.
Come on now.
Yep.
I've been digging back into some of his earlier stuff, and I just love the fact that he just puts out a shit ton of albums. Like he's like an old school guy. Like he just puts them out. There's one record.
Charlie Crockett would also put rhinestones on overalls.
Yeah. Also, he would list the album titles of the albums on the front of his overalls, like he does. With his albums.
He just keeps sewing a new patch on it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Working his way down the leg. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but he's got this album Lonesome as a Shadow. And I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing it's after he got some like new teeth or something. And he's just lisping on every single S the entire album. And he just doesn't give a shit.
Wait.
He just
Hold on.
puts it out anyway.
Hold on, because this is probably what's going to make it to TikTok. What's the name of this album?
It's called Lonesome as a Shadow.
Lonesome as a Shadow, right?
Lonesome as a Shadow.
Okay.
You gotta listen to it. It's
but
so fun.
we're saying that Brother Crockett has the new teeth thing or the lisping.
I think it's because he got new teeth, so it's like his S's aren't coming through like he's.
All right, let us hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Go. No, let us know what it sounds like. You do your version of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's got one song called "Sad and Blue,"
Mm-hmm.
and the chorus is him saying, "I'm so sad, so sad and blue," just over and over again.
Man, and here's the thing: is like I warned you that this was probably going to be on TikTok, and you still did it, man. You still went for it. We have got you now. We got you now.
I'm putting him in my Highwayman. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like
Okay. Yeah, it's
it's just
mitigated.
like-
It's mitigated. Yeah.
he's and I almost respect it because he heard it and it was just like I don't give a shit. You know,
That's what I sound like now. That's what I sound like.
this is how I talk now.
This is why I get on the internet is for stuff like this.
His producer and his manager was like, "We need to recut that little vocal part." He was like, "Leave it."
He was like,
Sounds great.
"No way, it stays."
All right, Charlie Crockett. Who else you got?
All right, let's see. I'm gonna have to throw Childers and Simpson, obviously.
Come on.
You
now.
put Sturgill Simpson in this band?
Come on now.
Oh, wait. Was it Ronnie Simpson? Are you saying Ronnie Simpson or Sturgill Simpson?
Marge, actually.
There's another Simpson.
Just so you know, Chuck didn't put. Did you put Sturgill in it?
I put Sturgill,
But then
and the
you
only reason I'm giving
also-
you shit is because initially when we talked about it, the concept was that Sturgill Simpson may form a Highwayman if he was gonna, as was reported, rumored, quit making albums as Sturgill Simpson. Maybe he'd do a Highwayman. So we initially were all gonna put Sturgill Simpson in and pick 3 guys, but the
I
fact
didn't
that
put
he
him in.
ended up there just proves that this was a worthy debate all along. You put him in there. I honestly came up with an alternate reality fake brother for Sturgill Simpson called Ronnie Simpson. And I will say that I stand on that Photoshop job, put it on my tombstone as my crowning achievement. But Ronnie Simpson's band's badass. I'm just saying, y'all. All right. So we got Charlie Crockett,
We got 3.
Charlie Childers, and Charlie Simpson.
All the Simpsons.
All right. Who's your 4th Highwayman?
Are you going to add yourself,
and
or are you going to pick somebody else?
I'm not gonna add myself. That's too many big.
It's a big cross to
Big-
bear, man.
Yeah, I just rather sit back and watch that one happen. I
Now,
think.
Chuck has no problem bearing that cross.
I'm just saying somebody's got to be in charge, right? Somebody's got to be in charge of this group, you know? One of them's from another dimension. He doesn't even know what's happening in the world. All right, who's your fourth?
Let's see, who else is there that I listen to? I mean, I guess Billy Strings have some good flat picking and stuff on there. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
No shit.
Who's playing bass?
Make Sturgill do it.
He would play bass like such a guitar player. You know he would.
He'd just be riffing constantly.
You know he would. I'd like to point out Ronnie sat down and learned how to play bass like a fucking bass player. Just saying.
All right. So another question I like to ask is who's one songwriter that our community's probably never heard of, or like in your opinion, a criminally underrated songwriter, which I would argue that you are one of the most criminally underrated songwriters.
Oh.
Who would you throw out as like somebody who needs to get way more love that's not getting the love?
This guy, there's one guy that I really enjoy, and he's not unheard of, but he's been at it a long time, and he's a Canadian guy. Fred Eaglesmith, are you familiar with him?
I'm not. I feel like I've heard that name, but I'm not.
Open it up to the chat. Who knows Fred Eaglesmith?
None of them.
Come on.
He's
Let's
got
see it.
he's got a couple tunes that you'd probably recognize, but he's got this bluegrass album called Balin, and just the songs on there are just incredible. There's one song about an old man trying to buy an old John Deere tractor, but some rich guy like beats him on it so he can park it in front of his restaurant to make it look kitschy. And it's like, how? And then by the end of the song, it's like, I'm crying about a song about a tractor auction. Like, how is this? His song is just storytelling. I don't know anybody out there that's doing it better.
So many people in the chat are talking about how we've done his songs before and we just don't remember. So they're saying Trucker Speed, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see, Blue Tick Hound. And it's the video you showed from me
Oh,
that you had to
shit,
cut
that's
off
what it
because of the
was.
nudity.
It's like the video started and there
Ah.
was nudity right at the beginning, and we were like, we can't do this. It's clearly a family show. Clearly.
It was like straight up nudity
Yeah.
on our live stream.
This is
And
a
I was like,
family show where we discuss existentialism and drop F-bombs. It's our family.
Kids can cuss.
Yeah.
It's
It's
horrible.
not illegal.
I feel like
yeah.
actually they'd probably be a little more chill if we just gave them some words to
Just
express
let them have
themselves.
fun.
Yeah,
Right.
they couldn't curse more than me though.
All right. So we're getting to the end of the night. Cyber says, we good, Zach. We got your vibe. So it looks like a lot of them agree with you that he's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Is there any last question you want to ask before I ask my last question?
Yeah. Where do you think anywhere in the continental, you can't say Hawaii or Alaska, but in the continental 48 states are the best songwriters in modern country music, not radio shit, but good country music? Where is the throne of country music resting today? Not historically, but today's songwriters.
Fuck Texas.
I mean, I think there's still a lot of good stuff being written in Nashville. It's just in the undercurrent, and kind of at the club level, and we'll probably see a lot of them come up soon. There's a lot of good writers here in Knoxville as well. We've got Adeem the artist here.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. My buddy Tim Woody writes some crazy good songs. My friend Red Darty. There's a lot of good songwriters here, and a lot of people say Kentucky, and I think there are a lot of great writers and good music coming out of Kentucky. And I'm going to say this. I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but at what point it's like that. I don't know if I want to hear any more Cole songs, like songs about Cole from 19-year-old kids.
I don't even know what coal is.
Oh, man.
I don't need.
Oh, man.
I've
He
never
said it.
seen a piece of coal in my life.
He said that thing we were all thinking. I love it.
I wasn't saying Cole like Cole Chaney. I was saying Cole the.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
same
just-
thing. I don't
I
know
have
what
nothing
that
did you-
is.
What?
I have nothing against Cole Chaney.
You did just like break Chuck's heart because his favorite thing is to talk about like coal miners and
Look,
like,
here's the thing,
workers'
man.
rights.
I don't care who's telling the story. If it's some kid from Kentucky or West Virginia,
who hadn't worked in the coal mine.
probably everybody he knows in his life has worked in a coal mine at some
That's probably
point.
true.
But I will say, sometimes,
Chuck's heart's broken. He doesn't know how to handle it.
sometimes he said Kentucky though. He did say Kentucky.
He did.
Yeah. So but you're gonna lean into Tennessee though. I feel like.
Are you throwing down the gauntlet for Tennessee? I think you're the first person to ever just
Yeah, because you might be the dark horse coming for Oklahoma.
yeah.
I mean, I've literally like 30 miles from the Kentucky border, like where I live. So I spent a lot of time in Kentucky. I don't really see it as that different from where I am. Like you drive through it and it's like the same. It's like if you didn't pass a highway sign, you would never know that you'd change states, So I don't feel like I need to stick up for Tennessee because Nashville is like old white men, It's like
Yeah.
we deserve Nashville deserves a little roughing up, and I can take a little flack for that, so I don't really think a whole lot about it.
All right, you heard it first. You heard it here. He said, "Fuck Murfreesboro."
And all the old white
He
man.
said, "Fuck their little mall." Oh, it's just dirty out here. Scandal. Oh my god.
All right. So my last question I like to ask people is, what is one question that you wished I would have asked you, or you wish we would have talked about? What's one thing that you wish? What's a topic or something that you enjoy talking about that you wish we would have talked about?
Man, we didn't get to as much shit talking as you led me to believe.
Oh shoot!
All right, we're gonna open up the chat right now. If anybody wants to take a few cracks at Zach Russell, we're gonna crowdsource this. We're actually up 3 viewers. We're up to 13 now. So hold on to your butts because Cody and TLP and Sad Chad are in the chat. Sad Chad said, "Daddy worked like a mule mining Bitcoin." We can get into some shit talk if we need to.
Yeah, I feel like we give ourselves a big game thinking that we talk shit talk, and then we're.
But also, if you got the chance to say, like, this is kind of the message that I would like to project, if I could use, like oftentimes we use music as metaphor, writing as metaphor to say something. If you were just wanting to say something in plain English or whatever, we just gave you the podium to say whatever you want.
Well, I grew up playing, this spiritually charged music.
Come on now.
And I think that I still work from that space. It's just a different set of rules, that I'm working with, and a broader subject matter that I can get to. I guess I want to help people figure out how to be happy and to see the beauty in life and how connected everything is and how, I'm saying constantly like everything's yours and everything's mine. It's like this is all just this crazy thing where all these things exist and none of it really makes sense. And I'm kind of hard to put into words, I guess is why I write songs about it, but it's all from this, I guess it's all just searching for meaning and finding it a little bit at a time along the way. And sometimes I have something I want to say that's on my mind and I say that, but yeah, it's really, I don't know. I guess that's all I can really come up with right now.
I like it.
That's a great way to end the show, man.
I like it.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for hanging out with us, buddy. Everybody, please go listen to Zach's music. Zach Russell, 2 S's and 2 L's. And I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and say that you are the songwriter that I'm most excited about.
I'm really excited to see what happens.
Seeing what happens for you in the future, man.
Thank you, guys.
If there's ever anything that we can do to help, please let me know. If you don't send me that album before it releases, I will never forgive you. And
Sometimes the honesty just comes out. Keith just posted a link for YouTube where you guys can go check out Zach's material. I'm going to tell you all again, check out the Creek EP. My favorite song, One More, caps off the album at the end, and it is where we get to hear the Moose do his thing. And man, I probably listened to the EP 4 times and that song 34 times. Honestly,
that's a fun tune. That was the most fun I've ever had in the studio. Like, I'll keep this short, but when we were in the studio, that song actually started out as more of like a mid-tempo kind of like sad song.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got in there and the drummer just started playing that beat and it was just so good. And then the guys started playing the chords and I just started singing and like it was like
nice.
It was like magic, it was that was awesome. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I love it, man. I love it.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Everybody else have a great night and we'll see y'all soon. See